Well, if you want, you can spend north of $300,000 on a Rolex. Others, though, they're less, but they're still an investment. They're closer to $5,000.
Well, no wonder the counterfeit market is on fire. How can you prevent paying top dollar for a fake watch?
Right. Saul's General Manager John Dineen is here to bling it on. Good to see you, John.
Guys,
Hey,
good
John.
morning.
Did you see Hog Wild in here?
You know, that
Mary,
is...
this is the sandwich. This is the sandwich I made for Mary. During the commercial break, she has taken this thing there's a quarter of this thing left.
Are you showing my breakfast? They
That
don't
just
wanna
shows
see
how
that.
good it is.
It's that good.
Here, why don't you
That
take
is-
time
It's
for a
that
second? I'll
good
be
she
right
can eat
back.
the whole sandwich during
Michael.
commercial break. We're talking Rolexes
Ew.
today, right? How do you spot real Rolexes versus fake Rolexes?
You know, this is one of the expertise I just love. I love watches. And so not only from Rolexes, what I'll teach you today, but also other higher-end watches, Breitlings, Patek Philippe's, those styles all fall along these same lines. And what you've got to be careful, because the market is so big out there, are those fakes that are out there. And there are some good ones. So
Yeah.
a couple of the little things I'm going to show you guys today will be an easy spotter to kind of tell, hey, wait a minute, is this the right thing or not? But it kind of goes across the lines, not only for Rolexes, but other watches as well.
Sure.
You know, number one, and like we tell everybody, even when you get into diamonds as well, buy from a reputable dealer. Know who you're buying from. That's number one. And then it kind of falls into place. Rolexes are that expensive because of how they are made. You see right here is a perfect example. The one on the right's the real one. It's precision with laser etching. The one on the left, you can kind of see it's almost penciled in that date right there. So that's a huge giveaway on a piece like that. Another one, the one on the right, you can see how nice and crisp those letters are. The date is, the day is. To the left, you can actually tell, you're like, boy, that just looks like bigger, bulkier letters.
Like they've been stamped on or something.
Exactly, like they're not even supposed to be there. And so these are things that when you see right in person. This is something a little bit harder. A lot of times getting the back off, it's going to be rough for you. But the one on the left is, you can see there's no numbering on there. There's no Rolex stamp. There's no serial number on that movement. Where the one on the right has all your correct lettering, all your correct numbers, the Rolex stamp. These are going to be underneath the hinges. On the 6 o'clock hand and on the 12 o'clock hand, underneath the bands, you'll get a Rolex model number and serial number. As you can see, the one on the right, it looks like it's used a drill or a laser to etch that in. The one on the left, like you said, it almost looks like a stamp. It looks like it should not be there. And so those are perfect telltale signs. The next thing, of course, is the weight. Rolexes, they use a lot of different movements, a lot of different parts, I should say, in that movement. So they're going to be heavier. The band will be heavier. Fake ones, you're going to tell right away, kind of like how I brought in a band here today. You can just feel, it feels plastic. It feels like a pot metal style that shouldn't be a real one.
Kind of has a tinny sound to it.
Exactly. So those are kind of quick telltale signs that when you're looking at purchasing a watch, you're going to see. I also brought in here, this is what we call this little plastic piece, if you can zoom in, is what they call a filler. So anytime, you know, on a Rolex, you're not going to see this type of a piece.
You're not going to see a
You're not
plastic
going to see
filler
a
in a
plastic
Rolex, right?
filler in a Rolex. You're going to see a good, strong movement hand. Rolexes are automatic movements, which means they don't take a battery. They're pendulum moving, so they're actually going to wind by themselves. Fake Rolex typically will be a battery style. So when you open it up, you'll see a battery in there, or you'll see a very cheap movement. Most of these are coming out of China and Asia, so you'll typically see maybe a Chinese movement in there. It will say China on there, so you want to be careful there as well. So just all these different things when you're looking at purchasing a watch, make sure you look into it really closely, because like you said, a typical Rolex is going to run you anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. If they're asking $500 for it, that should be another quick little sign right there.
You do have some awesome values on the real deal
Correct.
at Saul's, and you brought a few examples in to show us.
And one of the biggest things we want to make sure everybody understands at all of our locations as well is we do not carry fake anything when it comes to watches. These pieces here are all genuine. We fully certify them. We fully guarantee them as well.
Right.
Our price,
like,
yes.
Here's a great example, guys. So the watch that's up here, Jake, you got a card with it, and you know exactly what you're getting.
And that's what's nice. You know, it's not a necessity when you're looking at used watches to get paperwork or the boxes, but it's always nice. Just like with diamonds, when you have the certs with them and everything, it's nice to get that paperwork as well, because when we look at watches, purchase them, it adds about another 10 to 20% value on them as well. So the people that are out there, when you actually do look for watches, keep your boxes, keep your paperwork, because it does hold the value there.
Look at some of these
Yes.
styles, John.
Yeah,
They're
that's a
just
nice piece
gorgeous.
down there.
Great styles.
So
That's
pretty.
actually a two-tone Yachtmaster. That's what they call a mid-size. So a lot of the ladies, like we were talking about in the break, are starting to wear larger watches. This is one of those styles that actually can go both for men and ladies.
I'd wear that in a heartbeat.
It's about a 35mm head right there, so it definitely can go both ways.
So, John, we only have about a minute,
Yes.
and I want to give some love to the pendant I've been wearing. It is gorgeous, and I think the prettiest piece of floral-inspired jewelry I've ever seen.
It really is, and like we talked about last week, there's over 3.5 carats worth of diamonds there, yellow and white diamonds. They just really come off in the light in the studio. It's amazing how it does look on TV. It looks the same in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a little more detail in real life that you can't really tell on television.
And
It
I wanted
really
to show
is.
it layered too, so that if a gal was interested,
Correct.
of course you can imagine what it looks like on its own, but don't hesitate to layer it up. And then you brought me a Rolex.
We did. We, of course, are talking about timepieces. We wanted to bring you in one. This is a ladies' date just with the date right there, all stainless steel. This has what we call a salmon face to it, so it's that pink, nice face, Roman numeral dials. What's great about this piece is when you're looking at retail wise, you're at about $5,500 to $6,000 retail. With us, you're looking at $3,500.
Wow.
That's an
And
amazing
this-
price.
Great
Listen,
piece.
if you have questions for John, you can get a hold of him on social media, on Twitter there, Saul's Guy, and on Facebook. You just search for Saul's Jewelry alone. 5 metro locations. Of course, you can find John at 120th and Center.
And that's where the jewelry that I wear from Saul's always goes back to that store. So if you're looking for something you saw on air, 120th and Center is a spot.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you,
Johnny.
John.
No problem.
Great
Alrighty.
to see you. If you